Flosstube, it's Jen from Jen's Stitching Niche. I'm back for an update video. Today is Saturday, December 18th, and it has been a while since my last video, but there's a lot of things that have happened, and so I have a lot to share with you. In this video, I'm going to show you some of my whips and some of my finishes and talk about my plans and also talk about my planners. I'm excited about those, and a life update. And I'm going to actually start with the life update. So, since my last video, I think was in September, I have been to a retreat in October. I went to the retreat in Amana and had a fabulous time. Michelle Rudy, Farm Girl, does a great job organizing these retreats, and the venues. I mean, Amana is just gorgeous. And so Teresa and I flew into Amana, and we really enjoyed ourselves. There were a couple of hiccups. I didn't rent a room. I thought Teresa had rented the room. She thought I had rented the room. Fortunately, Teresa checked on it. Thank you, Teresa. So we didn't have to sleep in our car. We were able to find a room. And other than that, you know, things worked out. And we had a fabulous time. And I have some finishes to share from that. My family went to Disney World for Thanksgiving. My older son, Patrick, who worked at Disney prior to the pandemic, and my younger son's girlfriend, Brittany, and I, all three absolutely loved Disney World. We would go to Disney on every vacation. My husband, Hobby, and my younger son, Nicholas, love us and go with us to Disney. So we've decided that this is going to be our family tradition. Every Thanksgiving, we're going to go to Disney World. So I actually booked the room for next year last night. So excited. I love Disney. But we had a great time. And our travels were interesting because my kids and I all drove down. So from Mississippi to Orlando, from where we live in Mississippi to Orlando, it's about a 9-hour drive. When we drove back, it was a 13-hour drive because the traffic was so bad. But we had a good time. It was fine. My husband flew in, and I'll explain why he flew in just a minute. But he flew in the day before and left, or I guess we all left the hotel around 10 a.m. that morning. And he flew back to where he was going and got there and, 3 or 4 hours, and it took us forever to get back. So he had a much better travel than we did. So the reason he traveled separately from us is because we're moving. My husband accepted a position with Jefferson County in Colorado, and so we are moving to the Denver area. We have sold our house. We're closing on the 31st of December. I stayed behind because I'm teaching at the university and I wanted to finish out the semester, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited to leave USM. I'm excited to leave Mississippi and just start a new life somewhere else. My kids are both out of the house. They're in their own apartments, and so it's a perfect time for us. Nicholas and Brittany moved into their apartment in October. Patrick moved into his apartment in November. They each took cats. Everything just kind of fell into place. The house sold pretty quickly, and we've just been packing up. Hobby had to move to Denver in early November, and so I've been home or here by myself for the past 3 weeks, and I have about 2 more weeks. Sally and I have just been camping out. It's kind of funny. This room I've never recorded in. This is the den where the kids usually hang out. But it's the only room that has a place to sit down right now. So the entire second floor is cleared out, and most of the downstairs is cleared out. We rented some pods and then packed everything into the pods. And so all of my belongings, including all of my cross stitching, except for what's around here, is in in Aurora, Colorado right now. So that's a little disturbing to know all of my good stuff is over there. But when I get into Colorado, which will be the 3rd of January, we're going to get the pods delivered and we're going to start unloading that stuff. So I'll feel better about that. Why did we decide to make such a huge change? My husband has wanted to move to the West since he was a student. He loves that area. He's a geologist. And so that's what he loves, and he really wanted to move that direction. We didn't because we had young children in school, and then I was just, I like that, predictability. I was very comfortable at USM. That all changed. Have not been happy at USM for many years. Mississippi, the earning potential is low in all cases. Education, it's low as well, particularly at my university and in the position that I'm in. I can make more money doing other things and have less headache. I did love teaching. I loved my students, but there's a point in a career where you have to decide, is it time, what is best for you? And it was best for me to leave USM. So I left USM. My last day was yesterday. I turned in my keys. You would think after 23 years that I would be sad, but I was just so excited to turn that ID and those keys over. Honestly, at that point, there was no one in my school or department that had been there when I started. Everyone has retired or moved on, so I was the old one in the group. And so it was nice to leave it to the people who have kind of taken over since I started in 98. So it was time for me to move on. And I am happy, happy, happy. I'm going to miss, there's a lot of great people that I worked with. I'm going to miss them. But I can email them and Facebook and all of that. So good times. I am not closing my shop. I will put it on vacation mode as we move, but I'm going to continue to do my Jen's Stitching Niche. It's been very busy this week, past 2 weeks. I've been running sales, and I'm going to run another sale. I'm not restocking a lot of stuff. What I'm doing is I'm getting some new things in. Of course, with the mail running so slowly, a lot of that's not getting in. Usually I get a Hoffman order in 24 hours. It took over a week for the last Hoffman order to get here. I don't know what was going on, but I am trying to reduce how much I have to move. Once I get into Denver and get things set up, then I'm going to restock everything. So just so you know, it is slim pickings right now, but that's because I've got to move it across the country. So I will be running a sale. I'm going to start it on Monday, and it's similar to the sales I've run in the past couple of weeks, just 20% off most items in my shop. So check it out at Jen's Stitching Niche on Etsy. I know that I had talked about doing a barn quilt series, and I did July and August, and you haven't seen anything from me since then. I should have January, maybe I might just start with February, release that mid-January, and that way I can kind of catch up with those. It's just been crazy, crazy, crazy times. So, other than that, I mean, it's time to talk about stitching. I've been talking for over 8 minutes about life changes, so let's get into the stitching. So, instead of showing you finishes and then whips, I'm just going to kind of mix it up. Mainly because I don't have very many finishes here. They've all been packed and moved to Colorado. But I do have some finishes to share with you. So first off, I'm going to insert a picture of the finish from the retreat piece from my Amana trip. This was a Brenda Gervais retreat, and this was her, the project that she gave all of us, and I absolutely loved this. I immediately started it and just love this piece. I stitched it fairly quickly. In addition to that, there was a small that went along with it, and I finished that as well. Isn't that pretty? And then the cardinal has a tiny candy cane, which I think is adorable. I stitched on the fabric that was provided to us in our retreat kit. So that, I believe, is going to be released in a year, and it is adorable. So, and then I've also was working on that trip on her Jack-o'-lantern Jubilee series. So I have stitched 4 of the 6 projects. So I have the little witch, the 2 cats, the pumpkinhead lady, which I love pumpkinhead people, and trick or treat. I'm about halfway with the crow pulling the little wagon of pumpkins, and then I have to stitch the ghost and goblins, which I have the piece of fabric already cut and ready to go. So that is just a fun set. And at the retreat, she had her display, and one of the things she had displayed was this series in a little dish of some sort with the paper mache stars, and then she'd also used the letters Boo and painted those. So I went immediately to Hobby Lobby when I got back and found this little tray to display them in. I got the stars, and then I started collecting the letters for all of these different series that she has. So she has one that's kind of 4th of July. I got USA. For the Halloween, I got BOO, Boo. I got LUV because I'm going to stitch the love notes starting in January. And then on the winter solstice, I'm going to start the snowball series. So this is just a cute series that Brenda has put out over the past year, and I can't wait to stitch some of these. Look at these snowmen in the back. That is adorable. So I'm going to start this next week. So that was finishes, whips, and plans all in one big frenzy there. Okay. In addition to that, I've been stitching on these Santas from Birds of a Feather. These are out of print charts. Years ago, I saw Suzette from Primitive Stitcher either show her stitching or that she wanted these, and I fell in love with them. Couldn't find them. I belong to an out of print group on Facebook, and I just put out a call to borrow these, and a very sweet person contacted me and let me borrow these. So I am finished with 3 of the 4. I finished the red Santa. These are all stitched on 36 count. I think it's Brenda's Brew. There's the black Santa. The gold Santa. Now, I used the called for if I had it. If I didn't, I substituted. And particularly on this one, this was all gold metallic, and I just found a cotton to substitute for that. And then I am almost finished with the green. Well, almost halfway finished with the green. I should be able to finish him tonight, though. And that way I can get these charts back to their owner, mail them out on Monday. The other thing is I'm stitching on a brand new series. This is the Little House Needleworks Fall on the Farm. So I'll put a link below to Diane's website where you can see the entire series. All of the shops are showing these. I have them in my shop. Other shops have them, so it should be easy to get these. There's 9 parts, and this is the first one. So as soon as I got it in my shop, I'm like, I'm stitching that. And I have this much done on the first block. So this is on 40 count beige from Weeks Dye Works. And I'm doing some color completing. So I'm stitching all of one color. Now I am substituting some flosses from the called for, either because I don't have it or my colors are off. So the pea pod that I have is old. It's from Crescent Colorworks, and it was almost a gold yellow. So I just substituted something else that looks closer to what the picture on the cover looks like. But it's going to be really cute. Let's see what else I've got going on here. I do have some other projects that I've been stitching on. I showed you the Halloween set, and I have 2 Pineberry Lane ones that I wanted to show you. So, and I'm hoping I can get this one done before the year ends. Not this one, this one. So this is Pineberry Lane, the Perfect Pumpkin from Fancy Blacket. And I have about half of it stitched. These are so cute. not very seasonal, but I don't mind stitching out of season. And similarly, I started the Pineberry Lane's Cats and Jacks. So I'm stitching on this one, but this is such a cute chart. And that's my progress. You can barely see that there. That's better. You can see the moon. But those are my kind of whips that I kept with me so that I can work on those. Okay, another project that I worked on recently was the Cup of Christmas Cheer from Brenda Gervais. Again, this was one of her recent releases. I picked this up at the Amana Retreat as a kit. It's stitched on, what is that, 36 count Brenda's Brew using DMC. And I had the kit, so that's what I used. And that's my finish. It is really cute. And at first I was not going to do the satin stitching on his eyebrows and his little mustache, but it makes all the difference in the world. It's so adorable. And I've got the finishing materials to turn it into the pillow, just like Brenda. So that was another finish that I had recently. Now, one of my current whips is kind of not normal for me. When we decided we were moving to Colorado one night, I'm like, well, if I'm moving to Colorado, I'm going to have to really change my, wardrobe because I live in South Mississippi. Yesterday I was wearing like yoga pants and a t-shirt because it was like 70 something degrees. It is still warm and muggy outside, but it may be 35 degrees on Christmas. Who knows? Mississippi is all over the map when it comes to weather, and it's very frustrating. It rains way too much. But anyway, so I'm like, I've really got to think about what it's going to be like in Colorado. And I know the weather's different everywhere and everybody complains about their weather. But I'm like, I need a scarf. So I decided I was going to knit a scarf. So I went online to Etsy and I found this easy kit from Blue Ridge Purl on Etsy. And I'll link her shop below. And I got this kit, and it's just a tube scarf that's stitched with this yarn. What is this stuff called? It's like wool and acrylic. It's called Wool Ease. So she sent me the 3 skeins of yarn, a set of needles, which I've broken already, and the pattern, and a little stitch marker. And so I am about 2/3 finished with it. I did make a couple of mistakes. You can see that I saw it earlier, right there. I did 3 rows of green instead of 2. And I did that down here, right there. But that's okay. I got distracted. I was probably watching somebody's Flosstube. But I'm doing pretty well for a beginner. And there's some differences in the width of it, mainly because when I switched to this gold color, it just stitches tighter than the green and the gray did. But I'm on the last row of yellow before I add the gray back. So it'll go back to gray and yellow for 100 rows, and then I'll finish that out. But I contacted Susie Reno, because she's the crafty expert of everything. And I told her what I was doing and the issues I was having with the needles that came with the kit. And she told me to order this set of needles from Amazon. And I did, and it's a big difference. It's the Chalgu, whatever. But yeah, it makes a big difference. I've been able to stitch much faster. And it's so pretty. So I'll have a scarf and actually be able to use it. Not something we do very much in Mississippi. All right, and then I have one more project I want to share with you. My last whip that I've been working on is the Attic 24 Hydrangea Stripe Blanket. I bought the kit last year, and it's too hot to do this normally, but it did cool off a little bit, so I started stitching on it, and I am about 2/3 finished. But look how pretty this is. Isn't that beautiful? It is an easy shell pattern, and you just do 2 rows of one color and switch to the next. But it is absolutely beautiful, and I just love it. So I ordered 2 kits when I ordered this one. I think the other one was the woodland stripe blanket. That's in Colorado, and I'll probably wait and crochet on that next year, because crochet's not my normal thing, and I get worn out pretty quickly. But I have like 20, let's see, I'm on row 64 of 88 rows, so maybe by Christmas I'll have this done. And it's so sweet and cute. So that's my other project that I've been working on. And I think that's everything that I have, because it's pretty much, I've shown you everything that's in this room, and that's all the cross stitch and crafting that I have left. So my other thing I want to share with you is my planner. So most cross stitchers love to organize, and I love organizing, and I love planners. So Jen Lee from Quirks and Stitches released her 24 hours of cross stitch digital planner, and you can get a hard copy if you want. I got both because I'm obsessed. I loved working with mine last year. I've used it a lot, both the digital version and the hard copy. Last year I printed out all of the pages that I wanted from the hard copy and went and had it spiral bound. And I used a lot of the pages, but not everything. So this year I'm being a little more selective, and I'm actually only printing the pages that I know I'm going to use. Well, if you do that, then you have to have just the right binder to put it in. So I was at Office Depot, Office Max, whatever, and looking at their planners and their binders, and I found the coolest planner for me ever. And that is the Tulle planner, T-U-L. Honestly, I looked at them because I'd bought some of the pins earlier, and the pins are amazing, and so is the binder. So it's one of those disc binder sets, and you just add your pages as you see fit. And so I've printed out, I've got my yearly goals, I've got my new start section, and then my whip section, and then starting with January. So I'm doing it, I'm only adding each month, and then I can print and add more pages as I need them. So thank you, Jen. I love your planner. This is the coolest thing ever, and I am excited to start this next year using this planner. So I had to buy the larger disc because I knew this was going to fill up pretty quickly. So that is my planner. Now, what are my plans? Like I said, I'm going to start the Snowball series on the winter solstice next week, and then I'm going to start Love Notes probably as my January 1st start. We'll be on the road at that time, and so that'll give me something that's easy to stitch and easy to work with. And I'll probably continue, I don't know, I'll probably finish with my crocheting by then. The other thing is that in my giveaway my last video was for the 4-part series from Blackbird Design. It was a group of hearts that I'm giving away. I'm going to start those on January 10th. So I'm going to insert the name of the winner for that particular giveaway, and then if that person can contact me, I'll get those charts out to you as soon as possible. But I'm going to start those on January 10th. So anybody that wants to stitch those with me, they're still available. I'm going to start the first one on January 10th. And I'm going to continue working on the Little House Fall on the Farm series. And I think I'm going to do the Linens and Threads stitch along this next year. I did one of the mystery boxes from Black Needle Society, and it came with a large skein of floss from, Forbidden Fibers. And I love the color, and I think I'm going to use that to do the stitch along from Fox and Rabbit, or Linens and Threads, same group. I am participating in the Kitten Stitcher Advent Calendar. I was lucky enough to go over and help Teresa pack some of these. I didn't see everything. I think I helped her pack 2 different parts of the 25-part piece. And then I went over another couple of days and helped her pack them into the boxes to get them mailed out. So it was a huge undertaking Teresa did. Very impressed, very proud of her. And I got one of the advent calendars, which thank you, Teresa, for letting me get one of the advent calendars. I'm not going to stitch everything that's in the advent calendar. And I talked to Teresa and said, are you okay if I give away the things that I'm not going to stitch? And she said yes. So that's what my giveaway is going to be. If you are interested in any of these, just make a comment below and then list the number that correlates with the item you're interested in. Don't say anything about winning or competition or whatever. Just, comment and then list the numbers. I'm not going to check if you're a subscriber or anything like that because I don't know how to do that. But here are the different items. So the first, item 1 is the B Company kit. This is really cute, but it's not something that is my aesthetic, so I'm not going to stitch it. It comes with most of the parts. Very cute. Number 2 is the Scarlet Letter, A Token of Friendship chart. It's beautiful, but I'm not going to stitch that. I have so many other things that I want to stitch. 3 is the Heartstring Samplery Ye Old Noel. It's really pretty, but again, it's not something that I would stitch. 4 is Hands to Work. Oh, there it is. 5 is the Winter Essentials from the Primitive Hare. And 6 is Blue Flower Winter Quail. So if you're interested in winning any of those, just make a comment below and list the number or numbers of the items that you're interested in. And I will pick a winner and announce those on my next video. Now, one other thing, when I was listing these, I thought about this. There's also a stitch along from Jeanette Douglas, and I'm going to participate in that. I'm going to have a lot more free time because I'm only teaching 2 classes, and the maximum number of students I'm going to be teaching is 48. That is 10% of my normal load. I normally teach between 450 and 520 students a semester, so I'm going to be able to do some crafting, though I will not have as much room because we're in an apartment for the first few months. So I'm going to try to participate more in the Facebook groups and the stitch along. So I'm going to do the Linens and Linen and Thread stitch along from Fox and Rabbit and the Jeanette Douglas. If you haven't seen that, I'll try to find the link and put that below as well. I love Jeanette Douglas's stuff. Okay. All right. So that was a lot of rambling. I'm hoping that everything I wanted to say is in here because sometimes I forget to push the record button and then after 10 minutes I realize it and go back and try to recreate that. But I've missed interacting with everybody. That's the other thing. I do have some of the floss drops. If you're interested or you want to trade with me, just make a comment or contact me and I'll put my email here. Contact me and I will send you my address and we can exchange some of those cards. So I'm super excited about that. Okay, that's it for today. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all of that. I'm excited about this move, and next time you'll see me, I will be in a new state, new apartment, new life. Thanks. See you later.